With all that said, let me hit you with this question.
Okay.
I was watching and listening to some news while I was sitting here doing some work yesterday. And they got to talking about what candidates would be viable ones for the Democrats. You know, I know we only 3-4 months into Trump's term, and we have the mid elections coming up next in the next year and a half or so. But everybody's already talking about who to run for president next, and the name Pete Buttigieg came up, and I'm throwing that at you because my thought process on it is this: I think Pete's very sharp. I think he did the job he was supposed to do as the transportation secretary. And you listen to him speak now. He's on the podcast and everything. Again, I think he's very bright, very sharp, on top of things when it comes to policy and otherwise. Very well spoken when it comes to giving some type of pushback to the idiocy that comes from what used to be the Republican Party. I like to call them Walmart Republicans. But I think that the hill he can't climb and get over will be the fact that he is not heterosexual. And I think that would be the major thing for him. Where are you at on Pete? On that part of it or anything else?
I agree with you 1,000%. One, this country wasn't ready for a woman. And then a woman of color. And then even lower on the totem pole is a non-heterosexual person. Because I've been watching a lot of podcasts and a lot of different folks talking and a lot of news things. And the reason that the Dems took such a hit was because that one commercial that kept running about them paying for sex changes in California, I think it was, or wanting them to be able to play sports in female things because I identify as.
Right.
These are the things that I think America as a whole, it's hard for them to swallow. Even if they have friends that live alternative lifestyles, that's cool and that's great. I agree with you. I love you, but I don't know if I want you as our president.
Right.
And that was the thing that I think for Kamala, that was her problem, is that a lot of women were like, yeah, I don't know if we're ready for a woman president. And then a lot of older men was like, one, a woman, and then a minority woman. So there are hills that I don't think the country is quite ready for Pete. Now, Pete, again, is a sharp dude. I just don't know if there's enough of the country that's willing to push behind him and give him the actual votes, because everybody said they were voting for Harris.
Yeah.
And then you saw what the results were.
Straight lie.
She got smoked.
Straight lie.
So
out the gate smoked.
Yes. Smoked bad. Yeah. It was in every state.
She had some ketchup on the back end. But out the gate.
It was the California, the New York, the states she was supposed to win, but the states that were supposed to be close wasn't close.
And you're right about that. Whenever I hear about the Pete Buttigieg thing, and the way you're putting it takes me to it as well. You know, I remember growing up as a black kid around a lot of white people with, you know, and friends with white kids and so forth, and a lot of girlfriends we had at the time, white girls and getting along with, and one family in particular stands out, but they're not the only ones, but getting along with families until we dated their daughters. And then all of a sudden it's different.
Yes.
And I see this the same way, see the same thing with Kamala. You know, we like you from a distance. You're good at VP.
Yes.
We're fine. Hell, if you even want to be a governor someplace.
Yes.
Pete, you want to be a transportation secretary. That's great. The mayor over in South Bend, all that stuff is great. But now you're getting a little too close home when we're talking about the White House.
Where you're commander-in-chief.
Yes. And I don't, especially when you see what Hegseth has done with the Department of Defense, and there has not been this uproar from within the military or outside of it to say, no. We want to stand in arms with our brothers and sisters who are of alternative lifestyles, whether that be homosexual or whether that be transgender or whatever it is. You just haven't seen that come forth.
No, the don't ask, don't tell was as far as they wanted to go.
Yes. And that was brilliant for Bill Clinton to push that.
Yes.
Because you're right. That's as far as they wanted to go.
I just, again, there's an undertow in the country, whether it's said out loud or not. Woman president, alternative lifestyles, we understand. We probably all have a family member, cousin such and such, sister, brother, whatever it is. But that's one of one.
Right.
As we say, we're the good. You're a different type of black guy. You're one of the good ones. It's okay until you date my daughter, or it comes to exchanging money.
Well, you know what? And I don't want to let us off the hook. Our kinfolk off the hook, our skin folk off the hook, because when it comes to this topic, we are still very conservative.
Oh,
on
yes.
It. And you
Hispanic families too.
His for sure. Yeah. But I want to make sure so that anybody that watches doesn't try to come. I understand my people are very conservative when it comes to alternative lifestyles, which is why we still rank pretty high in terms of STDs that are passed across, because there's so many men that are living that down
lifestyle, down low.
Yes.
You know what I think is funny is that every commercial for HIV is a predominantly
black and brown.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I see more other people. And I'm like, well, why are we the only ones that are in the commercials? Like, we're the only ones that live this lifestyle.
Right.
So, however you live, whoever you love, I told plenty of family members, whether it's married to a white dude, married to a black dude, married to a woman, I don't care. You love who you love. It doesn't change me or how I feel about you. But there's far and few in between of us that are willing to say, yeah, but I don't want you in charge.
We've seen it. We've had it in our lives before, because we've dated within and married within our race and outside of it. And on being the married or the dating on the outside, we have both seen we normally don't like people who look like you, but you're one, as you said before, one of the good ones. Yeah. And so we accept you because of that, because we've gotten to know you well enough to say you're one of the good ones.
Yes.
And it's much like that throughout the country. And I'm bringing that up because you're right. You tell people, love who you love. I don't care. It could be a goat. I don't give a shit what it is.
Well,
and I'm the same way.
I understand what you're saying. Yes.
Love who you want to love, because to me, this doesn't dictate anything. And we're going to get into that. Yeah. But we are, I guess I used to think there were more of us and there's even less of us.
Yes.
On across the board.
Yes.
Not in one
that
particular
are willing
group.
to really say it and mean it.
Yes.
Because the election showed me that you just talking out the side of your neck, a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you what you want to hear, but I'm voting with my conscience. I'm voting with what I really, truly feel. And again, I think that of the candidates, intellectually wise, and would actually do a good job, yes. I think it'll be a cold day in hell before he gets.
I don't think he can win either. I'm with you. And I'm sad to say that we are at this age.
Because we look at, it doesn't matter how qualified you are. We have to like you. We have to relate to you. Because this dude shows me it doesn't matter how intelligent you are.
Oh, absolutely doesn't. People thought Bush Jr. was not bright.
He wasn't, but
he wasn't. But when you stack him, and I hate to do this to Bush Jr.
Yes,
because he wasn't imbecile like the orange dude.
No, he might not have known governmental things, but at least he was intelligent in. Let me find the people that know what they're doing.
Not only that, I've sat and watched him do interviews, post.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's said some very smart things.
And I have to take, yes, he is. He is compared to.
I mean, compared to a lot of people, but a stale muffin is smarter than the dude in there, right?
And the dude that just got out of.
Well, I don't want to take anything away from that man. I do think I have some thoughts about him.
Yes.
But I don't think
he. Next topic.
But I don't think he wasn't bright. And that is our next topic. So that is a good transition to get into it. I just want to see where you were at on the Buttigieg thing, because again, we were having a discussion pre-show. I said, let me hit you with this. And I didn't prep him for it. Yeah. I wanted to know off the top of your dome what you thought of Pete Buttigieg. I myself, if I had to vote for anybody that I'm thinking of right now, as far as a Democrat, I would give my vote to Pete.
Over Newsom?
100% over Newsom.
OKC, what is his name? OAC?
AOC, 100%. I know my wife.
Bernie.
My wife is on the other side of that door in that wall. She's probably over there making a voodoo doll because she loves AOC. I would never vote for Bernie. No. And
they won't let him in anymore. They already stole it from him once.
Here's the weird thing. A lot of people who talk shit. This is why I call y'all Walmart Republicans. Because a lot of what you bitch about, you don't like about AOC and you don't like about Bernie, it's some of the same shit that Trump is trying to pretend like he's trying to push across the line. He's got some socialism stuff he's trying to get across the line, and you guys eat it up. But if it comes from AOC or Bernie, you guys don't want any parts of it. That's why I call you Walmart Republicans.
The deficit. Do you see how high? This is the problem I have.
Bananas.
$5 trillion?
You're close, somewhere around there. Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Over the next 10 years?
Yeah. How do you...
On top of?
I'm saving money, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then the big, beautiful bill. What?
Somebody dropped into a text thread that I'm a part of, where his spokesperson, the
lady,
I can't think of her name. She drives me absolutely
the little
insane.
blonde.
Yeah, she is so nasty.
Like somebody's in her back.
She is so nasty.
Yes.
Where she talks about this $5,000 savings account they're going to open up if your child is born before X, and this will be $5,000 that you can put in, and they were putting, someone dropped it in, and I don't know why they dropped it in, but a couple of people kind of gave a heart to it, and I gave it a big thumbs down.
Yeah,
because I can see the forest through the trees.
$5,000 you're investing into what?
This is
the stocks.
What this is a 401k, yes. So they're going to match what you put up to $5,000. I believe what it is. So where's this money supposed to come from when you're talking about people losing jobs? Yeah. Where's this money coming from when you're talking about a shrinking middle class?
The money that Doge saved.
This is so. This is not a good thing. Who's going to be able to take a? Who's not going to have to cash this out sooner than they should want to cash it out?
Who's managing the money? And who's getting paid off of the money that they're managing?
And that's where I was going to next. So again, this is just another way for you to privatize things.
Yes.
Because you can't.
You can put your hands in it.
Yeah. So it is. But I would vote for Pete as of today, in lieu of not knowing who else.
Because everybody else I'm looking at is like.
And hearing everyone's arguments, but it's going to be a crowded field. I'm sure Pete will get in.
Yes.
You're going to have Shapiro coming in out of Pennsylvania.
Yes. The governor from, who was the?
Whitmer out of Michigan.
Yes.
You even may get J.B. Priskett in. I can't remember where he's the governor of what state.
There's a North Carolina, Michigan.
Gavin Newsom with his
California,
used car salesman.
And then who was the dude who ran as VP for Harris? What was he?
I can't believe he would run.
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, everybody else is going to be running. Why not? AOC's, I think, is gearing up to run.
Yeah, which is another one. Like, are you serious? Are you you'd be a better chance of running for the governor of New York or the mayor than, but her name is known, so she figured I can get some money from it.
Well, that's part of it. But the other thing is they keep complaining that she's not put into a leadership position. And she's not put into a leader position. And I never thought of it this way until now. I agree with the old people, Pelosi and that crew. You are too far to the left.
Yes.
Too far. This is why we lost.
Yeah. Because she's the Marjorie Taylor Greene, except on the opposite side. Mm-hmm. And you keep them people on the fringes, but they gave her a leadership position. As crazy as she is, they gave her a leadership position.
Yeah. And it works for them, though.
But she's dumb as a bag of rocks.
But it works for them, though. Yeah. Because that MAGA is still, which is why those centrist Republicans or those more traditional Republicans won't say anything.
Yeah, because they're rabid dogs.
Yeah, so it works. It's not working. We just saw Biden. Biden tried to slide away from AOC, but it was too late when it came to the border.
Yeah,
and
they
other
killed
things.
him with the commercial and the border.
Destroyed him. Destroyed him. So no, they were smart not to put her in the leadership.
Yes, but they're going to try.
But I'm with you. Maybe run for governor or something.
Yeah, again, I want to see her answer some real questions. Some real deep questions is what I want to see her answer, because the talking points and the pretty face can get you so in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to see what you can say and what you truly feel. And are you going to say on national TV that I just want to burn the bridges down?
I don't even want to say it on national TV. You know what podcast I was listening to? I've been listening to some good ones here. I just listened to this one for the first time yesterday. Pod Save America. They're all Democratic dudes. They all work in some facet or shape or form with Barack or Biden, and so on and so forth. Very smart guys, though. I think some of them might be speech writers and so on and so forth. But there's been some great things that have been said, and one of them was the one thing that Trump, not the one thing, because he's got a couple of things he browbeat the Democrats with, but he will go and talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime. Mm-hmm. The Kamala Harris interviews with CNN with Dana Bash, even though I'm a big fan of Dana, those don't push the needle like going to sit with someone who may not like you and your views.
Yes.
Go sit, like her not sitting with Joe Rogan, I still think huge mistake.
You had the opportunity to sit in front of people that you never are going to watch CNN. Mm-hmm. There's some people who are never going to watch CNN. Mm-hmm. So Fox is not going to interview.
Yeah.
So how do you get to those people that don't watch CNN or MSNBC? Like, you have to not ignore them. And they thought that, well, they're not going to vote for me anyway. Well, they don't know you. They don't have any context to what you are or what you think, except for what they're telling them. Mm-hmm. So give them something different. So again, Donald will sit with everybody, and if he don't like it, it's a stupid question. Well, I don't believe you asked that question. It's stupid.
And some people will look at it like we do and say, I didn't like the way he responded to that. And then they still think, because I listen to a lot of, it is escaping me, a lot of focus groups.
Yes.
Where they voted for Trump, but they sit now and they say, well, okay, I voted for him, but I don't like the fact that he's doing all the executive orders.
Yes.
And not only do they listen to Tucker Carlson, they also listen to Pod Save America.
Yes.
These people who voted for Trump.
Yes.
So, and then you see the number that came out a few months ago where most people are getting their news from TikTok.
Yes.
So this is where you have to go.
You gotta pivot.
To your point, no one's going to Fox News or CNN or whatever, unless they're, 40, 45 years old and this is what they want to watch.
Yes.
Most of these people are scrolling on phones.
Yeah. TikTok, the Instagram, the Facebook, whatever it is that they get their information from. It's not the big three, as we used to call it.
Yeah.
CBS, NBC, or ABC.
ABC, I would love to see, look, the invitation's open. Pete, sit down with us.
Yes.
AOC, sit down with us.
Yes.
Anybody come sit down with us.
Because you might actually change my mind, because I'm not so stuck in the ground in my views. And I think that that's the people that you're going to reach, because the people that are stuck on the right and the left, you're never reaching them.
Yeah.
So get the people in the middle that are like, yeah, I might have a gay friend, or yeah, I don't think the illegal should be in here. But it's somewhere in the middle is what I would, if you could work it so both of those things work out, I'd be able to do something with you.
The other thing is, before we get off of this, and I do want to move on, is we were talking about Black Lives Matter movement. We talked about how it seemed to a lot of us, it was infiltrated by those in the LGBTQ community. Whether or not they were taking, who was getting all the money versus who was not getting any money, I don't know. I haven't researched that, so I'm not going to have that discussion. But what I will say is, for all of the things that they've been able to do in that community, the alphabet community, they still are not able to push themselves across the finish line when it comes to certain positions in politics, when it comes to protecting themselves in the military and keeping the hex steps of the world from wiping them off the map and pushing them out.
Because they're only a percentage, again, minorities. And if they've
been a very powerful one, though, for a while.
They are the second most powerful minority organization.
Yes.
We might be a bigger bulk, but we're not powerful because we're scattered.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. Al Sharpton, what are you doing for us? Pull us together. You're our leader. You're our dear, great leader. Just ask Target. Yeah.